Hello everyone, this is Marcus here again, this time with another Let's Play series, and this time of Spyro Reignited Trilogy. So, obviously you may know that I'm doing a Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy as well on my channel. So I thought I'd also do Spyro Reignited Trilogy, which is also a game I absolutely love, so we'll start on a fresh slot, and we'll first start with Spyro the Dragon, because we're going to do these in the order of 1, 2 and 3 again, just like I am with the Crash long plays. So here we go, Spyro the Dragon.
Okay, rolling.
It's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age, we now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Gnorc character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Gnorc is a simple creature.
Simple?
He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom.
No threat?
Besides, he is ugly.
Ugly? That does it!
Huh? Looks like I've got some things to do.
So there you go, that was the first cutscene, the opening cutscene to Spyro the Dragon in Reignited Trilogy, and I've got to say I'm actually pretty impressed with the job that Toys for Bob have actually done with that cutscene. You see, I never actually knew that like Ganasty Gnorc were actually watching it on his TV at home. I obviously knew that it were actually being recorded for like a news show, but not for actually on his TV. We were watching it in his actual room, which looks like the actual last room of Ganasty's loot, so that's actually pretty interesting. First thing I always do, change the camera to invert on both. And I've also put the music on original just for nostalgic purposes. But as for the controls, I always change them like that because I like them to feel close to the originals as possible, especially how I use the triggers to rotate the camera. And I also use the classic control scheme as well.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the Artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Gnorc? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
So that was the first dragon rescued, which was of course Nesta. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the Artisans Homeworld, collect all of the gems, defeat all the enemies and rescue all of the dragons. Speaking of dragons, there's a second dragon here, which is of course Delvin.
Where's Nasty Gnorc? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro. You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
So that was the second dragon rescued, and of course I'm going to unlock the Sunny Flight mission, even though I'm not going to do a Sunny Flight mission yet, but an interesting thing, it's actually made it pretty more obvious to know how to unlock the Sunny Flight level, because actually the platforms now light up as you stand on them, which is... It actually helps many people, but I actually liked it how it was like a hidden, like a secret. And you actually found it out later on in the Magic Crafters world, what was it, Dreamweavers. Also another thing, not, why am I saying Dreamweavers? That's not even a level, it's, what is it? Wizard's Peak, sorry, there we go. Here, behind that door, there's apparently something behind that door, and I actually think there is something behind that door, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out later on if they actually update the game, which I'm sure they will in the future. I'm actually hoping that it's going to be DLC or some sort of patch to the game that will actually add in more levels.
Hey, Spyro! Press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
So the last dragon to rescue is by Toasty. Collect all of the gems around the bottom, which is what I always do to start off with, and then I collect the gems at the top here by Town Square, but Town Square is going to be one of the later levels I do, because Town Square is actually my, I think my favourite level in the Artisans Homeworld, which is, I mean, who does not love Town Square? I mean, it's, I'm 66 of the gems. I think I've actually figured out the way I'm going to actually set these videos out per part. I think I'm going to do half of a world at a time, because I actually did originally try to record this and do like the whole Artisans world, but it makes the YouTube video like that, makes like that specific part of the playthrough about 40 minutes long, and I don't really want a YouTube video to be that long. I don't think YouTube videos should be that long. I like to keep them under 20 minutes. Because whenever I see a really long video, I think I'm not going to have time to watch all that. Unless it's a live stream, of course, but I know where the last 10 gems are. Right. Goodbye, Toasty. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this Artisans Homeworld out. Then I'm going to do Stonehill and Sunny Flight, and then I'll in the next part do Town Square, Dark Hollow and Toasty. That's one thing I don't really like. The only one thing I can really nitpick about is the fact that the long grass does seem to hide the gems.
Cool flash. Do that again.
The Artisan's boss is through a portal in the Dragon Mouth, but you're not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other Artisan lands.
So that's 100% of the Artisans Homeworld completed. So now we're going to be doing Sunny Flight, of which I absolutely do love the flying levels in Spyro 1. For some weird reason I actually find them more fun than the speedways in Spyro 2 and 3. But some of the challenges on them can be a bit tedious. So the way I usually do is I usually clear the barrels out first, or get 2 of the barrels, fly over to this arch, and then loop back to the other barrel here. Of which I've totally missed it, so I've probably just wasted some time here, but this is not exactly intended to be a perfect speedrun. This is just a let's play of me fully completing the first Spyro game. That's something I've always done, is actually struggled with the planes in Reignited Trilogy. They're a little bit harder to catch than there was in the original, but I think that's partly because they seem to have, you guys will have to let me know in the comments below, but they seem to have changed the pattern with things like this in Reignited Trilogy as opposed to the originals. Like where the planes fly, where the trains spawn, you know, stuff like that. So we've just got to finish flying through all of these arches here, and then head into the cave and destroy all the rest of the treasure chests. which I basically go around the perimeter first and then I go for the last one in the centre at the end. And that is Sunny Flight 100% completed. And of course this is one thing that gets me every time, and it is kind of like frustrating to be fair. I always end up clicking retry and then have to do the whole thing again. I don't think it so much affects the these ones in Spyro 1, but more like the challenges that you do in Spyro 3 the most. As it can be a real pain if you accidentally click retry, especially after you've been trying at it for ages. That actually does really like stress me out. So that's one thing you've got to be careful of. So now we are just going to be doing Stone Hill. But as I say, this is the second time I've actually tried recording this, because as I say, the first time I made it in too long apart, and to be honest my commentary weren't great on it anyway. And another thing, I did a stupid thing and tried to record it sat on the beanbag. So there were shuffling noises all the way through the recording, which is definitely not what I want. And it'd definitely be very distracting, so I had to scrap it unfortunately. I had to start again. Fortunately I'm only in the first world, so I don't have to, I haven't lost a lot of progress. But I always like the, sort of like the process of first time's always a practice anyway. Because not everybody gets everything right the first time, and I'm definitely one of those people who does not, so. So that's why you'll have to bear with me if like these parts take a bit longer to upload than they normally do. Because say all this live commentary and stuff is all pretty new stuff to me, so.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
I never run into trouble, but mind you, just joking, because I mean, there are going to be moments where I die in this, because as I say, this is not going to be a perfect speedrun or anything like that, like I've previously just said, but I am obviously going to 120% this, because, I mean, Spyro 1 is not hard to 120% at all. I mean, one thing I do like about Spyro 1 is the fact that you can just like relax and play it. You don't exactly require like a high level of concentration to like 100% complete like in the other Spyro games. And there's no backtracking too, which is also a nice nice addition to Spyro 1. As I find Spyro 1 to actually be a pretty underrated game.
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya!
That's a bit like me actually. I mean, like, I'm in the middle of doing something like when I'm really busy, and somebody will come in and wants to tell me a story or show me something. I'm like, no thanks, I'm busy. I'm just so rude. I'm just so antisocial, but I'm so bad at like multitasking. I've got to like be doing like one thing at a time. Take out these last two shepherds, and I believe it should be this lower area here cleared out. Sorry sheep, because I didn't even need sparks, so I don't know why I actually ended up killing them, because I'm evil, so here we go.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet!
For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump.
and try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
I really like what they've done with the characters here in Reignited Trilogy. Especially the dragons in Spyro 1. You know, the execution of the characters, the voice acting. Some people don't like the voice acting actually, but I actually think they did a pretty good job with it, so. And of course I got to try and find that hidden tulip, which should be around here somewhere. There it is. I'm not actually intending to be getting all the skill points. I just like, if skill points are just easy there just to grab, I'll just get them. But skill points are not actually required to 120% the game, so I'm not actually going to be purposely collecting them or going out of my way to be collecting them. But I may go back for them later on, or may not. I don't know yet. But I say skill points are just a nice thing to get, but they're not exactly necessary things. I mean, just they're fun to get, but not a necessity. Speaking of that, it's actually quite nice that they actually included skill points in Spyro 1, which wasn't actually in the original game. And now I've got the mission of finding all the gems up here, which can actually be quite spread out, so I'll actually use the gem finder to have a look if there's any gems left around here, which I don't think there actually is. Apart from these guys here, and yep, and that's correct, because there's only 13 gems down that hole, so I'll just get them and I think I got the egg. Yes, I have got the egg. How did I not remember getting the egg? Here we go.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong, like me.
Sure.
I really like the Spyro model as well in Reignited Trilogy. Probably my favourite Spyro model they've actually done so far, to be honest. So that's that. That's Artisans, Sunnyfly and Stonehill fully completed. Which I'm obviously going to break this off into a new part here, because, as I say, I tried to record it all in one part last time and it just ended up being an awfully long video, and as I say, I don't want YouTube videos to be like 40 minutes long. So I'm actually going to do each world in like 2 parts, so there we go. So that is that. I'll see you all in the next part, guys. I sure hope you enjoyed this, so if you did, please remember to comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next part then, guys. Thank you for watching.